I'm Bobby Campbell. This is Campbell Ranch. We're located in Hallsville, Texas, northeast Texas, an hour from Freeport, an hour and a half from Dallas. We started this weather business about 5 years ago. We started with 25 nannies in a billy. I raised show wethers for all the major shows. I have about 80 grown nannies, and I breed for two kid crops. I breed for May through June for the spring shows, and then January through February for the fall shows. Had a hard run at it the first year and a half, losing goats, till I started feeding the Sweet Pro diatomate tub with the Fresh Start with the diatomate in it. Been able to keep my goats alive. Been able to spend more money in genetics with the safe feeling that I'll be able to keep them alive. All my wethers are sold for kids in FFA. My doe kids, either I keep them, retain them in the herd, or I'll sell them to go into other people's wether operations. In this part of the northeast Texas, we've had it's hard to keep a goat alive with the parasite issues. I'm talking to people, the ones that are here are either they're selling out, the ones that are not using the product for the fact that they can't keep the goats alive. We don't have parasite issues. Give credit for the good blood flow, and the vaccines, the wormers that aren't working on these other people's herds are working on mine because I've got a healthier animal. Last year I had 20 wether babies, and every one of them sold for a show prospect. I didn't have any culls. We try to do that, with the low numbers versus the guys with 1,000 nannies. I try to do the same outcome with 80 nannies. My wet nannies, my nursing nannies get a pound of grain a day. I feed them a Decox Sabine Valley feed, an ounce and a half of Fresh Start, and free choice on the tub. My cost per day on the nannies is about 28 cents a day. The industry norm, people that take care of them on the show wether side are feeding 3 pounds of grain a day. Their cost is going to be around 50 to 55 cents a day. When my nannies aren't lactating and they're dry, I don't feed them any grain. I feed them an ounce and a half to 2 ounces of Fresh Start, which is 7 cents a day. Plus, I try to get a third of a pound intake on the diatomate tub, which is around 18 cents. So that's 23 cents. And they maintain, they breed back. My feed cost is down. My health issues are way down, almost to a eliminating. My growing nannies, I'll feed them a half a pound of grain, up in an ounce to ounce and a half of Fresh Start. The cost there is going to be around 18 cents. When they get 7-8 months of year age, through their growing stages, I'll just feed them Fresh Start until I breed them, and then I'll go with a half a pound until they're lactating, and then I feed a pound. So my average cost is going to be anywhere around, on the high side, 28 to 30 cents, and on the low side, around 12 cents total. I'm feeding these nannies a half a pound with an ounce and a half of Fresh Start. Talking about this is the one versus these two. The one in the rear here, the 130 goat, I raised her. She's 6 months younger than the one in front of her. Talking about the horn size, the base width, the size, the overall size of the goat. Normally I wouldn't breed them that early, but when they're that big, when they're big as the ones I'm breeding, just get them bred. I thought they were plenty big to breed. The ones in the left ear I did not raise. The ones in the right ear I did, with the tags in the right ear. And I didn't cull through them. I just split them, caught the first 3 of mine and the first 3 that came from Oklahoma. and genetically they're right there with each other. A goat from that herd, one Fort Worth, San Antonio, they have them all there. I mean, they're pretty predominant. And the only reason I got a chance at these nannies because the guy wanted his genetics out of Oklahoma. I think I'd have a hard time selling somebody that these goats were actually 6 months younger than the ones I bought. You know, it's not I'd call them older if I had to. When I wean my babies, my nannies will get no grain. They'll just get fresh start with the diatomaceous earth. That's how I flush my nannies to rebreed, just with the fresh start and tub. They don't receive any grain, and it's around 23 cents. We're gonna 22, 23 cents per day, versus an industry norm of 3 pounds of grain at 54 cents. And my nannies breed back as soon as I want them to. I breed in August, and I breed in December. I breed for 45-day intervals each time. I like my babies being born 45 days. I don't have them spread out that far. I use one billy, and my nannies are cycling all, and my babies are normally born within 2 weeks of each other, and I get about a 99% conception rate. I wean my babies at 60 days old. I dehorn them at 9, I band them at 45, and I wean them at 60. My babies continuously stay on feed. I try to stage out the stress levels. I don't have a lot of stress on my goats. One thing that I'm pretty proud of, none of my Wether kids have ever had urinary calculi, and I'm contributing that to the product. The pre-digestion of everything, the protein and calcium in a goat will make the kidney stones, urinary calculi, and if they have them, they will die. I've never. It's an issue in the bucks. It's an issue in the Wether kids. I've never had one die of urinary calculi. The potassium chloride in the fresh starch is diuretic, plus everything else is getting digested and passing through the rumen. I don't have those issues. When you have a billy that's you pay a whole lot of money like we did for, and you kind of want to feel safe about keeping him alive, and I'm basing that. I've never had an issue, and I have 5 bucks on feed, and I've never had an issue with urinary calculi, and that's a big plus to me. You know, these babies, they'll mess around. They get fresh start in their creep feeder, and they'll munch around with their mothers when they eat. I like the diatomate fresh start just as a plus. We did it without it. Green grass comes on, nannies back off the tub. I like to make sure they get the diatomate in them through their feed. They'll eat it out of their feed. That makes sure I can get 1/3 of a pound a day. We did a fecal test. I fecal test all my goats. When the company came up with this diatomate, we kind of had we sent 10 bags over here, and I did a fecal test, and I've got a 70% decrease on worm count on the slide. Goats in Northeast Texas are few and far between. I was talking to a big order buyer just this Thursday at the sale barn, and he's got an order for 100 nannies, and he can't complete his order because there's not any goats around here. You know, I've been to the sale barns all my life, and pens full at our sale barn anywhere from 50 to 100 nannies. I went this Thursday and there was five goats in the whole sale, and I was asking, and they contributed to the death loss, and I just don't have it. My babies were born January 15th. We've had 6 inches of snow and over 1 foot of rain. The old timers are saying it's the wettest they've ever seen this part of the world. I haven't had one sick goat, one respiratory issue. My nannies have maintained weight, maintained milk. My babies have come through it. Nights for solid weeks didn't get over freezing. It's nice today, but it hadn't been nice this week. We've had rain, drizzling rain, snow. I mean, but these nannies have come through it in flying colors. They're bright-eyed. They're clean nosed, but I haven't changed anything on my feed, and my nannies have continued just to maintain and do their job. I'm basing it all on the product, the Diet2Mate tub and the Diet2Mate Fresh Start. This is a group of 10-month-old nanny kids that I've raised that I'm going to retain and put back in the breeding program. These nannies get 1.5 ounces of Fresh Start a day, and hay and tubs, and that's their complete nutrition. They don't get any grain. Try to keep them like that. They'll grow better. They'll grow truer. They'll be healthier, and they'll be ready to breed in August. That's when I'll breed these nannies.